Hello, hey guys. This is Foster from Inglês no Cru. Welcome to another episode or another installation of the Ask Me Anything series. This is the part of Sound School where you ask questions and I try to give you a relatively intelligent answer. And today I am here with the one, the only,
Alexia. Not Alexa or Alexis or Lexi. Alexia, guys.
Yes.
Please.
That is just a word of wisdom. If you want to stay on Alexia's good side, you probably should pronounce her name correctly. So today, Alexia, we have some interesting questions, and I thought it would be fun if you sat in on the conversation.
Yeah. Well, we have this part on Sound School, as Foster was explaining, but some of the questions we think it's really cool to do it as an episode and share it with everyone.
Yeah, and I think it's just very nice to have you participate because it always gives me a little bit more perspective and just a little different insight and approach. So you want to do it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, the first question we have today is from our student Haiza.
Hey, Haiza.
Hello, Haiza. And Haiza asks, what do you think about the different accents in English in general? Is it a bad thing or is it not that big of a deal? Okay, so we've talked about some version of this question many times before. Alexia, do you want to give your first opinion about this? Obviously, I have a lot of opinions about this.
I don't think it's a big deal at all. I think that, there are different accents in English, right? British English, Australian English, Irish English, American English. So, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, so I always have to answer this question with my linguistic teacher response. So, first of all, Haize, I think it's really important to make the difference between accents and pronunciation.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest point.
Yes. So when we refer to pronunciation, we are talking about the sounds of English. So the physical sounds that I'm making when I'm moving my mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
In general, when we are referring to accents, it is a much more subtle thing. They are much smaller differences. Generally, we are talking about where you come from, the words you use, your intonation.
The same in Brazil. If you are from the Nordeste or the Sudeste, and it changes a lot.
Right. So, for example, if someone is from the southeast of Brazil or Rio de Janeiro or the northeast, they're speaking the same language. 95% of their pronunciation is exactly the same, but they do have little things that make it just slightly different.
Yeah.
So the short answer to the question is having good pronunciation. That's really important.
That's what we do here.
That's like the fundamentals. That's just your foundational base. But focusing more specifically on accent, I think when you get to the really advanced stages of language learning, it can be very important. But in general, in the beginning, it's not where you should be focusing most of your time or effort.
Yeah. Do you think I have an accent?
Of course. Everyone has an accent.
Where? From
in English?
where? Yeah.
That's a little bit more difficult to answer because I am so personally invested.
Because when a Brazilian is talking in English, most of times you can see that it's a Brazilian.
Most of the time.
Oh my God!
That's a common mistake that a lot of Brazilians make.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but normally if I'm just listening to someone speak on the streets or something, I can instantly say, yeah, they're Brazilians because of the way they're speaking English. Most people can't do that, but I literally do that all day, every day. So I have a lot of experience in the area. Yeah, but I would not say that you have a very identifiable accent. It's not traditionally Brazilian, but it's definitely not an American accent either.
That's interesting. People will be questioning, where is Alexia from, if they don't know it.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. So getting back to Heise's question, when I am thinking about accents, I really think there are two ways you can approach this. First, the best accent that you can probably use is just imitating the person that you're talking to. In general, that's what I'm trying to do. For example, if I'm in Rio de Janeiro, I will have more of a Carioca accent. When I'm in Portugal, I start speaking a weird, crazy...
You try to speak like them, but you can't.
Yeah, but the idea is people like other people that sound like them.
Yes, of course, French people are like this. If you go to France and you make the effort of speaking French, they love it.
Yeah.
It's more or less like this. Of course, it's not the same, but it's more or less like this.
Yeah, all people like people that sound very similar to them. But, for example, if you really understand your goals and objectives with English, for example, if you know that you want to learn English to work in London, yeah, it's probably a good idea to focus your studies on more British-based materials and resources. I think that's a good idea. Do I think it's the most important thing with your language studies? No.
No,
Not in
because
the
once
beginning.
you move to London, for example, and you start living there and doing stuff that British people do, you're going to start organically talking like them.
Yeah, you'll start picking it up. Accent is generally something that happens later, and you pick it up more naturally, more organically, like Alexia said. But good pronunciation is something that you have to cultivate and develop much more intentionally.
Now, do you think that there is a huge... what's the name of that? Oh my God, preconceito.
Bias, preconception?
Yes. No, not preconception.
Yeah, you could say that. I would say a bias, a stereotype
Against Southern accent from the United States.
Yeah, depends on where you are, who you're talking with. But I think it's very similar to, I don't know, maybe like the caipira accent in Brazil, like someone from the interior of Minas or São Paulo. Yeah, a lot of people would view that with a somewhat negative connotation that perhaps us Southerners are not as educated or refined, which I think is nonsense.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
So I hope that answers your question, Haisa. We love talking about accents and pronunciation here on the show. So until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.